For what I truly wish to give this room, I don't think that even 30 minutes would be enough. I was actually supposed to do this session with a co-founder of mine on Monk Entertainment to kind of give you guys a bit of a 101 on social media. Can we have the PPT on screen? Okay. All right. So, how many of you guys saw Pathaan with Shah Rukh Khan? Not too many people. Shah Rukh Khan had this quote where he said that, hey, I'm the last of the superstars. He had said this, all right? And he had also said, and this is something that's not quoted often enough, he said that the next big superstars may not come out of the film world. And back then, it was something extremely difficult for a lot of people to fathom. And then Mukesh Ambani comes on and brings on Jio. I promise you, I started YouTubing in 2015. Towards the end of, I believe, 2016 is when the whole demonetization phase happened. And that's when Jio really started rising. And YouTubers became celebrities overnight. Like, we'd go in taxis and people would be recognizing us. We'd go into restaurants, into your McDonald's, and everyone would be recognizing us. So I strongly believe that YouTube is going to be the future of fame in this country especially, as it's becoming in the rest of the world as well. Brief introduction on myself. Basically, I graduated from engineering college, and like most engineers, I figured that I wanted to do a startup after engineering college, tried launching an Uber for fitness coaches, and then figured that in order to market it, maybe social media is the way to go. So once I began on social media, I realized that there's a serious lack of Indian content on the internet. This was back in 2015. In about 2016, after Jio came in, we started releasing regional content as well. So right now we have about 9 YouTube channels spread across English and Hindi primarily. The intention is to go and start Tamil channels and Bengali channels going forward. They say that the internet penetration is at about 25% to 30% of the country right now. So 70% of the country is yet to use the internet. And even the world of YouTube in general is targeting India. How many of you guys have heard of someone called Mr. Beast? Okay, so he is the YouTube world's first billionaire. But he's also opened up the doors for the rest of us to try to think of things at that scale. And the way he's done it is not just through a YouTube channel. So I'll give you all a very transparent truth about YouTubers in this country. There's one of 3 possible career trajectories that you can get through YouTube, all right? The first one, and this one doesn't make sense to me, is to become a film actor. I don't think it's that easy to crack that world because acting is a craft and we all know how the world of films works. I also feel like Bollywood hype is dying. How many of you guys do believe that a little bit? Okay, all right. And I'll come to why I believe the same thing in some time. The second career trajectory you can go on is a production house. You can provide video content and social media services for other people. The third trajectory is products. And that's how Mr. Beast has become a billionaire. He's basically launched something called Beast Burgers that's now competing with McDonald's in America. And it's gradually expanding into Europe, Canada, other Western countries. That's the business model that YouTubers and social media stars can aim to go down. The other angle here is, how many of you guys think social media is easy? Y'all can be transparent. No one? Okay. I'm usually in rooms where a lot of people raise their hand saying that social media is easy, and it can kind of be easy if you know how it works. But that's the deal with social media. It's just like a sport. You decide if you want to stop playing at the domestic level or go to the international level and then become like a legend of that sport, etc. It's up to you. And there is a trade-off of mental health. There is a trade-off of time. So this is kind of where we stand right now. Because my co-founder couldn't make it to the event, this is a slightly older PPT. The numbers are bigger than that right now. We're at about 13 million on YouTube, about 3 on Instagram, 500,000 on Twitter, and a little more than that on LinkedIn as well. Okay, this is where I'm not going to take you all through the numbers because I usually make these sessions interactive, and that's how I feel the best of what I can bring to the table can come out. What I was telling you all about Bollywood going down or other trends in the country, I don't say this just off the top of my head through opinions. I say this because of 2 reasons. Everyone's heard this saying that goes, data is the new oil. Okay, what the world outside of social media doesn't understand about the world in social media is that we have access to extremely deep data mines. Extremely deep, especially if you've been doing content for 8 years. Okay, I've been doing about 4 videos a week for 8 years. All sorts of topics. Everything from health to spiritualism, to religion, to history, to neuroscience, to philosophy. You name it, I've probably covered it. Everything other than politics. That's something you don't want to get into in India, honestly. Everything other than politics we've covered on the channel. Now that gives me access to data, and because of that data, I'm able to predict what sort of YouTube videos I need to make for the next 2 years in order to keep my channel alive and growing. But it also allows me to choose what kind of products I wish to get into going forward. The one trend we saw during the pandemic was that everyone suddenly got concerned with their own mental health. Okay, and where there's mental health, of course there's talk of therapy, as there should be. But there also, according to me, should be talk about something called mental fitness. The basic logic of mental fitness is that life is going to be difficult for everyone, and you just need to be prepared enough to face the difficulties when they come. I personally feel through my own experience and through the experience of a lot of people around me that meditation, yoga, these things really help accelerate your mental fitness journeys. Which is why we've launched a meditation app today. It's called Level Supermind, and I'm using the YouTube channels that already exist as kind of marketing outlets. Most people in this country usually raise money in order to market the products, but once you've got social media distribution, there is no requirement to really raise. So Level's bootstrapped, the other companies are also bootstrapped. That's what social media can do for your career. So the only reason I'm trying to show these slides to you, I'm going to go through them really fast, is so that you all have some kind of fodder in order to ask further questions. Okay? In the same way that I said data is the new oil and we have access to data, through the podcast I get to meet the leaders of the film world. I've podcasted with Priyanka Chopra, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've podcasted with leaders from the world of the military. I've podcasted with business leaders as well. So I have access to what's going to happen over the next 2 years, and that's what I'm going to lead up to towards the end of this chat as well. How many of you guys have heard the word Gen Z? I'm sure a bunch of people in this room might be, okay. Anyone has Gen Z family members? Do you all think like how we saw Rishi right now? Rishi is technically Gen Alpha. Okay, has anyone heard the word Gen Alpha? Gen Alpha is, Rishi, what's your birth year? Oh, which year were you born in? 13. Okay, so you're like at the end of the Gen Z spectrum. But they say that the kids born after 2015 are Gen Alpha, who are born into the age of ChatGPT and AI and this version of social media. All of you are on Instagram? Everyone's on Instagram here? Okay, do you all know what the next big social media platform is? There's two that are coming up in a huge way all over the world. Gen Alphas and Gen Zs are using it. Does anyone have an idea what the two are? No, I'm not going to take it from my team. Anyone else? Okay. Who's heard of BeReal? Anyone's heard of BeReal? There's very few hands in the room. Okay, this is one of the things I want to tell you guys. Because if you have insights on this, you also have insights on the future of marketing. BeReal is a social media platform that's come up in order to combat all the negatives of Instagram and Facebook. What's up, Rishi? You want to say something? Oh, you know BeReal. People your age use it. Okay. The logic of BeReal is that it's kind of like a video game where once you install the app and you build your profile, you get a notification at any random point in the day, usually during prime time hours, and it says, listen, post a selfie and post whatever your back camera is seeing. And that's what your own friends or your followers interact with. That's it. That's the logic. It sounds silly, right? At one point, Instagram sounded silly, and now Instagram's Instagram. That's one platform. The second platform's even crazier. Okay, does anyone have an idea what the name of the second platform is? Okay. It's called Roblox. Has anyone heard the word Roblox? Okay. Oh, okay. If anyone's got a family member under the age of 13, you've probably heard of Roblox. Has anyone seen the Steven Spielberg movie called Ready Player One? You know when the metaverse hype was going on, the crypto and metaverse hype was going on? In order to explain the metaverse, people referenced Ready Player One. The logic of Roblox is that people now have their virtual reality characters, and those are their social media profiles. It's not the traditional Facebook social media profile or the Instagram page. That's where social media is going. It's becoming more interactive. What this also means is when you really think about the process of watching movies, all of us are pretty much 80s and 90s kids in this room. Okay, for us, when a big Yash Chopra or Karan Johar movie released, it was a moment for us on the weekend to go with your family. You're looking forward to that big movie releasing, and you have family time together. The truth of the world is, thanks to BeReal and Roblox, the world is getting much lonelier, and people are accepting their own loneliness because they're also accepting the ways to combat mental health trauma, and they're trying to figure out how to go deeper into their own mental fitness journeys, but alone. And what I mean by that is that I personally believe, and this is not just me, this is a lot of guests I've hosted on the show outside of the world of films, it's going to be extremely difficult for the film world all over the world to survive going forward, because in order to make films, it takes 2 years. Culture is moving so fast that if you begin to make a film in 2023, you're going to release it by 2025, and by 2025, 2 or 3 cultural trends would have just come and gone. Okay, how do you combat this? As of now, the answer is looking like it's going to be the next levels of what ChatGPT is doing for scripting. That's how the world of content is using ChatGPT. We're asking the bot to give us scripts on, hey, give me a script on Delhi in the 1900s or in the 1800s, I'll give you a big script. But this is the base layer where ChatGPT is at. ChatGPT has an additional tool, I forgot what it's called, where you can actually generate an image based on whatever input you're putting in, and even that tool is constantly getting better. I can't remember the name right now. Someone named it. They're going to be making video tools as well. I highly recommend this book called Life 3.0. It's basically a 101 on artificial intelligence, and the first chapter is a story where basically this group of scientists builds an AI bot that's capable of building more AI bots which are capable of doing anything that the first AI bot requests them to do. So you're basically making a supervillain inside an artificial intelligence based machine. And what that supervillain decides to do is to open its own OTT platform where it creates its own AI generated animated movies. But those movies are so good based on the data it's collected through human interaction that it takes over from all the other social media the OTT platforms that exist, and therefore creates distribution for further products, which is exactly what's happening with social media. And it brings me back to that loop of what social media does for businesses in the modern day. So yeah, this is basically what it requires. I don't think there's too many people in this room who actually want very active social media careers. So I'll actually move on to the Q&A round. Can we pass around a mic? Because I think I've given you guys a bit of an overview of where the internet's headed towards. These are the current big social media platforms. Feel free to take photos. I'm happy to interact with people after this session and give a more detailed download on each of the platforms and where they're going. Can we pass around mic, please? Does anyone have any questions? If not, then I'm just going to continue along the tangent of what I wish to share with you guys, which is primarily about Gen Zs. Because I do believe that the workforce is entirely changing. About 10 years ago, when I was graduating from engineering college, right before graduation, whenever I went and did an internship, I don't think my opinion was respected in the office space. At this stage in all our startups, we actively hire college students now in order to dictate where our products should go, where our content should go, where our strategies should go. All right? And I say that because Gen Zs technically are born in 2002, 2003. By the time the memories started forming, social media platforms were already very active. Facebook was already very popular. So they've grown up in this new digital world and they see it in a very different way. Everything from how they look at graphic design to content is extremely different, and they are going to dictate the future of products, trends, social media platforms, etc. All right? Keeping that in mind, I have 5 big learnings that I'd like to share with you guys in case we're not going to make it interactive. First learning, social media is becoming one of the subjects that's going to survive in the future. I had the privilege of speaking to Ronnie Screwvala on the show, who was at that point very involved with building Upgrad. He said that, the only 2 skills that are really going to be relevant in the long term are the skill of EQ and the communication skills. The third skill, according to me, is the skill of social media. Because people are becoming more lonelier, because the entertainment and their love for movies is being replaced by by what they gain through the internet, by what they gain through social media. The second learning is that I feel social media as it stands right now with Instagram and Twitter and all the platforms that is very close to an imploding point. This is something I've learned from Gary Vaynerchuk, who is supposed to be one of the world leaders when it comes to social media. Social media is now going to break up into niches, which is what we're seeing with BeReal, which is what we're seeing with Roblox. The niche for Roblox is gaming. The niche for BeReal is people who, it's honestly introverted people. But we're going to see a lot more of this. It's going to be spirituality-based social media, fitness-based social media. These kind of things are going to happen. And the reason these insights assist business is because if you utilize these changes just when the changes have happened, it's very, very effective for your marketing campaigns. Third one, for Gen Zs and Gen Alpha, which is everyone Rishi's age, they think very differently than millennials like myself or even the older generations. I feel for us it was very Nike mentality of going out and killing it in your career and material success and individualism. It's become much more about work-life balance and mental health. These kind of conversations are really up there right now, and products related to these will take off a lot more in the near future. I'm almost done. The next logic I want to definitely share with you guys is, I've spoken to the Zepto founders about this as well. Every young Indian startup is not just targeting India. Even the ones who are actually targeting Bharat are gradually thinking about how to expand outside of India. I think that says something, that says a lot about this new Virat Kohli inspired next gen that's coming up. That people are becoming more gutsy with all their moves, especially when it comes to product. And the fifth one is a personal learning that I'd like to share, and it's something that I'd like to end this talk with, which is that after talking to 450 leaders from different industries, the one thing I figured is that happiness is different for everyone. Where we're headed towards in the near future, you guys have no idea how much artificial intelligence is going to change up our lives. Keep in mind what it takes for you yourself to be peaceful and happy. And if y'all want inputs to be able to come up with that answer, I highly recommend talking to military personnel, because of all the different occupations I spoke to, the army folks, the navy folks, and the folks from the Air Force were the happiest. Okay, the difference is when you and me talk as city people, we often discuss growth of some kind, which is what we're doing even now. When you talk to someone from the military, they talk about their past experiences and the things they wish to experience in the near future. And that's been my big definition of happiness and peace, that what you are in terms of good mental health is often an outcome of all the experiences you've accumulated and all the experiences you want to accumulate. So thank you, and I hope this added some value to your lives. We've been able to grow YouTube only by adding value constantly. I urge you guys to check out the podcast that we run. We run a Hindi and an English podcast. It's called The Ranveer Show. It's available on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.